Hello and good evening, and once again, welcome back. I've got my book, and as you can tell, I've brought my therapy friends with me tonight. Their time off is over. They have work to do now. So without further ado, shall we begin? The person without conscience. A more serious difficulty, particularly to society, is presented by the child contaminated adult with a blocked out parent. This condition develops in the person whose real parents or those who fulfilled the parental role were so brutal and terrifying, or, in the other extreme, so doltishly indulgent that the only way to preserve life was to shut them off or block them out. This is typical of the psychopath. Psychopath, not psychopath, by the way. I realised my voice didn't quite make it right. The person who at some point early in life gives up the first position, I'm not okay, you're okay, and assumes a new one, I'm okay, but you're not okay. This little person concludes correctly that his parents are in fact not okay. They are so not okay that he excludes them entirely. In the extreme, he may do this by homicide. If not this, he at least excludes them psychologically, so that in a sense he does not have a parent. He excludes the painful parent, but he also excludes what little good there is in the parent. Such a person does not have available to his current transactions any tapes. If you're too young to know what a tape is, people, look it up on whatever search engine you use. I'm not explaining that one. Where are we? Damn it. Such a person does not have... Here we go. We'll start the sentence again. Such a person does not have available to his current transactions any tapes which supply data having to do with social control, appropriate shoulds and should nots, cultural norms, or what, in one sense, may be referred to as conscience. I have one of those. It gives me a hell of a time half the time, and often makes me feel guilty about things I'm not even really sure I should feel guilty about. And other times it's surprisingly absent. Anyway, his behaviour is dominated by his child, which through the contaminated adult manipulates other people to his own ends. His adult is able to estimate consequences, but the consequences he is concerned with have to do with whether or not he will be caught, and seldom contain elements of concern for others. Although there may be exceptions, the general rule is that we do not learn to be loving if we have never been loved. The first 5 years of life consist totally of a critical struggle for physical and psychological survival. This struggle is likely to persist throughout life. Now, are you with me so far, people? Because I am not going back, alright? One way to determine whether or not a person has a parent is to determine the existence of feelings of shame, remorse, embarrassment, or guilt. These feelings which exist in the child turn on as the parent beats on the child. If these feelings do not exist, it is probable the parent has been blocked out. It is a safe assumption that if a man who has been arrested for child molestation does not express any feelings of remorse or guilt, apart from the fact that he was caught, he does not have a functioning parent. This has prognostic implications for rehabilitation. Treatment of such a person is difficult. One cannot evoke a parent where one does not exist. A number of experiments have been conducted with monkeys who were raised not by their real mothers, but by surrogate mothers in the form of wired dummies covered with terry cloth. Seems kind of cruel looking back on it. But we can't stop the experiments because they've already happened. During infancy, the little monkeys form strong attachment to these terry cloth surrogates. However, when these monkeys reared by their terry cloth mothers reached maturity, their capacity for reproduction and rearing their own young was minimal. Well, obviously. They were deficient in experience about mothering, often thought to be instinctual. Mothering was not recorded in the parent, so nothing replayed. obviously. But I'm going to show you figure 32 as was mentioned earlier. Now, as you can see, you have the parent. It has been blocked out. In the case of these monkeys, they didn't have a parent, so their parent is blocked out, and the adult and the child are currently contaminating each other. The prognosis for the person with a blocked out parent is not quite so dire in that, unlike the monkey, it has a 12 billion cell computer with which to assess reality and construct answers even if none were recorded early. A criminal psychopath can understand his PAC to the extent that his adult can direct his future activities in such a way that his pattern of crime, arrest and conviction can change. He may never have an operational parent to back up his adult, but his adult can become strong enough to carry him through a successful life, wherein he gains the approval and even esteem of others. It is on this possibility that rehabilitative efforts in the field of corrections must be based. Next bit. The decommissioned adult. The person who has a blocked out adult, figure 33, I'll quickly show you actually. See? You have the child, you have the parent, but the adult doesn't exist. And we'll start again, shall we? The person who has a blocked out adult is psychotic. His adult is not functioning and therefore he is out of touch with reality. His parent and child come on straight frequently in a jumbled mixture of archaic data. A jumbled replay of early experiences that do not make sense now because they did not make sense when they were recorded. This was observable in a female hospital patient whose singing of tent meeting hymns, not sure what that is, was interspersed with obscenities relating to bodily functions. The content was bizarre, but seemed to replay an old parent-child conflict between good and bad, should and should not, salvation and damnation. The content of these verbal productions quickly revealed a great deal about her parent and child. The fact that her adult was gone indicated the severity of the conflict. The struggle is too hard. I will not try. This is not to say that there was any comfort in her giving up. She was at the mercy of the same terrifying feelings which existed in her as a child. The first step in treating a psychotic patient is to reduce these feelings of terror. Basic to the recovery of the patient is that from his first encounter with the therapist, he sensed the demonstrated precision, I'm okay, you're okay. In 1963, my associate Gordon Heiberg reported the effect of this stated precision on psychotic patients he was then treating at Stockton State Hospital. And I shall read the quote. Treatment begins with the first exchange of glances between the therapist and patient. When the therapist enters with the basic precision, I'm okay, you're okay, psychotics are yearning to establish a more meaningful relationship with people. When these usually very perceptive individuals are confronted by an individual who assumes the precision, I'm okay, you're okay, this is a new and intriguing experience for them. The adult is hooked by his human assumption and begins asking, how come you're on the outside and I'm on the inside? The question is not answered immediately, but at the intuitively correct time, after the therapist had the opportunity to establish what is the most destructive maneuver or game the person is using. The patient is simply and directly informed. For example, you scare the hell out of people. He is frankly told he is okay. He is important because of the uniqueness of his being a human being, and he starts to gain hope. When the adult can begin processing data, listening, learning and helping in decisions, the innate regenerative powers begin operating on their own and the healing process begins. End of quote. My ongoing hospital groups, which at any given time contain from 10 to 20 patients, frequently include psychotic patients. In the setting of a group wherein I'm okay, you're okay is the stated contract, the psychotic patient feels supported, stroked and reassured, and the stage is set for the return of the adult. In one hospital group, one woman got up repeatedly throughout the hour to straighten her skirt and pull it down below her knees. Though this activity could not go unnoticed, no one made anything of it. No one looked disapproving. The group simply went on with its discussion. The hour included 30 minutes of the teaching of PAC, followed by discussion. At the end of the hour, the man next to the woman said to her, "You know, I kept track. You got up to straighten your skirt 19 times. With some surprise and delight in discovery, she said, "I did?" 19 times is a lot, I suppose. Actually, it depends on how long the meeting was. She was able to make this adult response without suspicion or threat. The emergence of the adult, however tenuous, is the beginning of the re-establishment of contact with reality, and the stage is set for the learning of PAC, through which further discovery can be made by the patient about his own behaviour. In conjunction with group treatment, drugs are administered to aid in mood elevation and the calming of extreme agitation. In cases of severe depression, electric shock treatment is administered. I do not approve of that, if I'm honest, and I'm pretty certain electric shock therapy has been disproven by now. But we'll see what the book says, shall we? The effect of shock treatment is dramatic. Well, obviously it would be. After 2 or 3 treatments, the patient becomes cheerful, relaxed, and willing to talk. I think I would too, under the threat of, more electricity going through me. Treatment temporarily knocks out the painful, archaic recordings, allowing the recommissioning of the adult. With the adult again functioning, the patient can begin to learn PAC, to understand where the archaic feelings come from and how he can turn them off himself. Hello everyone, this is James here, as you should know by now. Just want to give a quick talk about electroshock therapy at the end of the video, because I know I made some comments and I may have been slightly wrong about what I said about it being disproven now, because it turns out it's not. It turns out I was actually thinking of how electroshock therapy has been disproven in the use of treating homosexuality, which, as you all know, does not need treating, because it's fine. It's fine. People, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just it's just the way you're born. You can't help it. You really can't. But anyway, I'm going to give a quick read to this bit of electroshock therapy in the modern use, alright? Just so we're clear on what it actually conducts, alright? I'll go back. It's actually called, I'm reading from my phone here, by the way, electroconvulsive therapy, otherwise known as ECT. I'll quickly read this. This is from the wiki page, by the way. Electroconvulsive therapy is a psychiatric treatment that causes a generalized seizure by passing electrical current through the brain. ECT is often used as an intervention for mental disorders when other treatments are inadequate. Conditions responsive to ECT include major depressive disorder, mania, and catatonia. Now, I'm going to quickly read the bit about modern use, and if I remember, I'll put the link to the wiki page in the description so you can read it yourself. Alright? So, modern use. Here we go. It's not that long, so we won't be here long. ECT is used where possible with informed consent. In treatment-resistant major depressive disorder, bipolar depression, treatment-resistant catatonia, prolonged or severe mania. Now, you're going to have to look these up yourself if you don't know what they mean, alright? Because I'm not going to explain. I don't think I really need to, but for those interested, look up the wiki page. Right, now where was I? Here we go. Prolonged or severe mania, and in conditions where there is a need for rapid, definitive response because of the severity of a psychiatric or medical condition. For example, when illness is characterized by suicidality, psychosis, stupor, marked psychomotor retardation, and that's a medical term, people going. Just so you know, so it's fine for me to use that word in that context. Depressive delusions or hallucinations or life-threatening physical exhaustion associated with mania. Almost done. It has also been used to treat autism in adults with an intellectual disability, yet findings from a systematic review found this to be an unestablished intervention, which means they don't actually know how effective it is. It appears to have been in some, but not in all. And that is all I'm going to read, because I don't really see the point in reading the entire wiki. I just wanted to give a quick go over it, alright? So, that's it. So, once again, I'm going to say, actually no, the goodbye will be going at the end of this, alright? The proper goodbye. Because this is the bit where I stopped the video, because the next chapter was quite long. And I don't like these videos to be too long. And by adding this warning, or this little thing in the middle, I've kind of made it longer. But anyway, I'm going to return it back to James now, alright? Bye. And that, people, is where we're going to leave it, alright, tonight, because it turns out the next bit is really long. Well, it seems to be anyway, at least compared to the others. So we're going to leave this tonight, as I said, and we shall finish this. Well, we'll continue this in 4 nights from now, alright? So until next time, take care of yourselves, people, alright? Because I love each and every single one of you, alright? So please take care of yourselves, okay? Bye.